So I'm having a catch up with All Ears Avow. How are you both?
Yeah, good man. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. So we've been playing a new single of yours called A Night Like This. Tell us a bit about the single first of all.
Oh, wicked man, thank you. Yeah, a night like this. It is the final single really before the record drops, which it just feels insane that we're saying that and we're
Yeah,
at that point.
yeah, it's less than a week to go now
Mm.
to the album.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it's one of those tunes that really encapsulates sort of like All Ears in terms of it being like a big poppy banger with big riffs. Um,
But yeah, just sort of like, yeah, super catchy, super bouncy. It's one of those songs that like, people just want to jump up and down to live, which is kind of exactly what we wanted really. So yeah, it's a great tune. It's really, really good fun. And it's kind of like got some cool themes behind it and stuff as well. So
yeah, with a very tongue-in-cheek music video as well.
Yeah, no, yeah, absolutely. What was it like recording the video?
It was a task. I think, don't get me wrong, us two got off lightly in comparison to Claire being buried and learning the dance routine and stuff. But I think the biggest shell shock, we shot it in August, so sunlight is at an all-time high, and when we're not all spring chickens anymore. So the idea of being like, right, we'll meet at like 10 o'clock to start filming this, so because the sunlight's finally gone was a bit of a
yeah, so
shock, wasn't it?
lots of just kind of like darting around different areas in the dark, just sort of like trying to get these like little shots between all of the sort of main bits in the video. Yeah, it was good fun.
And yeah, I'm sure people that saw us from afar were like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah, wandering around the streets of Swindon at 11:30 at night with a crucifix and stuff. So it's
And there
Wish I
was
wish
the
wish I drove past now.
yeah, there was a weird point when we did this at the start where Claire stands up in the graveyard shot. Obviously, we didn't make the fake grave in a graveyard, but there's the scene where she's walking through a graveyard, and we saw like a flash of light, didn't we? And we were like, someone was definitely like, "What are these kids up to with a camera in a graveyard at like quarter to midnight or something?"
It sounds like an experience. But the video itself leads quite well to the title of your debut record, Horrors. What can we expect to hear on the record when it comes out on the 10th of October?
Yeah, literally Friday. We can officially say Friday now. It comes out on Friday.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So I think we've done five singles in total off the record now, which
Yeah.
leaves six to come. Um, and I think the tracks that remain to be released are quite different in places to what I think people expect. There's as a whole cohesive thing. I think the record um, starts off in angst and it sort of ends in like positivity and like looking at, then maybe not everything is as terrible as we currently feel like it is living through. Um, yeah, I feel like I'm talking about you.
No,
You
no,
go.
no. It's got and there's quite a wide variety of sort of styles and stuff on there as well. Like we've got some like super fast like upbeat ones. We've got some more kind of chilled out sort of slowed ones as well, which people haven't heard yet. So yeah, I think it kind of and not only does it kind of encapsulate a lot of different feelings and stuff like that, but also just lots a few different styles and different paces and stuff like that that people maybe have not necessarily kind of heard from us before as well.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, nice. And the sound that you made with the record, is it the sound you wanted, or is it kind of just how it turned out as you were writing and recording it?
I I I would say yes. So Claire does all of the writing, and she works as a producer, so she produces the band as well. But I think it because how a lot of these things start with us is that we don't go, right, we're going to do an EP next, or in this case, an album. Claire will just be feeling really inspired and smash a few tracks out, and I feel like it then, as it happens, formulates where we're going with this. If that makes sense.
Hmm.
Um, I know she said previously, like talking about it, that we are not really a political band. And full respect to bands that do that. It's just not really our thing. But I think with everything that's been going on in the world, realistically, in the last 5 years, I think it's hard to ignore, and I think that has been coming through. Um, like like tunes like "Bird on a Wire" and stuff. I think
Yeah,
there's a
absolutely.
real and like again the video behind it as well. There's like a strong political
Mm.
sort of inspiration, I guess, if that makes sense, because it's where we're all living in. We're living it every day,
Yeah. It's
No, yeah,
interesting. It's
yeah.
interesting as well, though, just because like a lot of these songs, as sort of Jake was saying, like Claire does all the writing and stuff, but a lot of these songs are written quite far apart, and they've kind of all come together really quite nicely, actually.
Mm,
It's interesting, like considering some of the songs were written sort of like quite a distance apart. Like it's really cool how they actually all kind of fit together and sort of like listening through to the record and stuff, it all really works and it really flows quite nicely, even though like Jay said, it wasn't necessarily written with originally with the intention of it being all of these songs are going to be on an album. So yeah, it's cool.
Hmm. And how much does Claire bring to the table when she comes to you with a song? Is it kind of all done and your parts are written as well, or how much of influence do you have on it too?
pretty, she's pretty much like, here's a demo, but it's to the point it could be produced, it could be put out a lot of the time. She's like so meticulous in her ideas. She's not like she'll come with a riff or whatever. It's like a fully fledged thing. Don't get me wrong, she's open to ideas as well. And at the point of the studio, when you're doing drums or whatever, you might expand on stuff or
Yeah, for sure. There's always like little tweaks and stuff that are made in the recording process. But yeah, like Jake said, very much kind of like she gets an idea and it's just like do everything, drums, guitars, all that kind of stuff is on there. And then yeah, it's the fine tuning bits that that kind of come afterwards. But
mm.
yeah.
Hmm. Has she ever overdone it with the drums for you to go, actually, I can't physically do that?
I mean, it's interesting. I always say this to people actually, like it's interesting playing parts that aren't written by a drummer, because and I quite like it in a lot of ways because it's not it's not the obvious thing. I think drummers in particular are kind of, or any, I guess if you play any instrument, I guess you're almost a lot of the time you fall into the trap of being a bit more safe and you kind of like you want to do stuff that whereas if you're playing a drum part, for example, that's written by a non-drummer, they don't always write the obvious kind of thing, and it makes you kind of think outside the box a little bit more. And there have been times where I've been a little bit like, oh, how am I gonna actually sort of do that? And we always work it out. Sometimes maybe we have to tweak things a little bit. I mean, there's not ever been anything that's been like completely impossible to play. But like, yeah, I actually really like working that way because yeah, it just makes me think about what I'm doing a little bit more. And yeah, it's not always what you might expect a drummer to do, which I quite like.
Hmm. Good. And I'm sure there was more written than what made it onto this record. Do you know what happens to those now? Are they considered again further down the line, or is it a case of
Yeah,
starting afresh?
that's exactly it. I mean, and a case in point to that is there's a tune on the record called "For Once in Your Life" that has been around for years. Like, I would hazard a guess 7 or 8 years.
It's certainly been on the fridge for a while.
And we just sort of remains there, and then yeah, we'll readdress it. And again, I think we have a folder on a Dropbox, and I think Claire was literally going through it and was like, I think this would let's have a stab at this again within the record. So again, they'd sort of end up on the proverbial fridge, as you put it. Yeah.
Yeah. So those other tracks that didn't make it on this record are probably they'll make it on something else, I'm sure, at some point.
Mm.
Mm. And you said that track's been around for years. You guys have been around for quite a few years now. How
Yeah.
come it's taken so long to get to this debut record?
Anxiety from doing a debut record, I feel.
Yeah, I guess so. I think there's a real pressure, I think, at the moment within the music industry to want it for it to be kind of like single, 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 and people kind of want that instant gratification, I think. And so we've been focusing for a long time on putting out singles and like shorter kind of like collections of songs like EPs and stuff because you kind of get trained into sort of like thinking that's what people want, that's what people want. But like yeah, so I think we've kind of as Jake said, there's almost been a sort of anxiety about it, like whether putting all that kind of time and money into something is going to be not wasted, but you know what I mean. Like so I think that's maybe part of it. So
Mm.
yeah, I think maybe that's why it's taken as long as it has. But
Mm. Yeah, fair enough. And
Yeah.
this past month, you've been quite busy as well. You've been on the road and doing some shows. How have they been going down?
Yeah, really good. And it's the majority of the set list has been the record, which has been really fun.
Mhm.
Like cutting our teeth and like getting those songs played live just completely changes it. And I also think that adds to the excitement of getting the record out. Like there's a tune that closes the record called Fire that we've been equally closing the set with, and every night I'm looking at people. I'm like, I just wish you knew it. I'm really looking forward to this being out, and yeah. But yeah, the shows have been great.
Yeah.
They've all been wicked. It's been a we've been back to a lot of places we haven't been in a very long time. Like we haven't like going back to London and stuff. Like
Mm.
London is always typically an important show as a UK band, and that was so good.
Mm.
It was good to be
Really
back
good.
after so many years, and Salisbury, again, we worked out that we hadn't been back to Salisbury in like sort of 7 or 8 years. And because just the stars never aligned really. It was the same venue and stuff. I'd send the promoter the dates when we were booking, and it was just never seemed to work. But there were people that were at that show that were like, "Oh, we haven't seen you lot in 8 years." So it's like it's really cool from a fan retention point of
Well,
view
yeah,
that
equally, yeah, that they're still interested
yeah,
after that after
Mm.
that long.
people just kept
Yeah,
being like, "We'll see if you're as good now as you were 8 years ago."
no, indeed. And you've only got a few more shows left booked in. Are you hoping to add some more in?
Yeah, we're next year it's going to be really busy. We are just sort of lining stuff up, and then there's some shows in March to be announced that are just kind of getting locked in now. But yeah, I think the plan next year is just to play, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. And are you hoping to go overseas as well?
Always. Yeah, again, it's a more complicated thing, sort of post Brexit and stuff. And it's a bucket list thing we've never done, so never say never. Hopefully, we shall see. We certainly would love to.
Yeah, I'm sure. And I'm sure festivals are on the cards for next year as well.
We absolutely hope so. Yeah, we've just announced at the start of next year We Are One Festival, which is really cool. Which is headlined by is it catchy? I
That's
was
it on the
is it
Saturday.
yeah, and
Yeah.
for Covey on the Sunday,
Yeah.
which I'm really stoked about. At the Tram Shed in Cardiff, we've never done that before.
No, no,
It's a
no. We
bucket
went.
list venue.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but we shall see. Hopefully, Download will have us back.
Yeah, indeed. Or where I met you last at 2000 Trees, where that was a few years ago now.
Oh yeah, yeah, man. We adore Trees as a band.
Yeah,
We would
absolutely.
love to come back,
Sure.
and it's local to both of us,
Yeah,
right, Jim?
yeah, no, indeed. Yeah, I think it's about half an hour for me, so I can stay at home and sleep in bed. So
That's what we do
Yeah.
nowadays as well. We just discuss who isn't going to have a beer that day, and we're like, "Well, I'll drive.
yeah,
I want to get drunk for this band, so you drive tonight, and then we'll vice versa or
Yeah,
whatever."
it's nice. It's nice.
the perks of being local to many festivals is great. So,
Amen, my friend.
guys, it's been a pleasure having a catch up with you.
You too,
You too,
man.
man. Good to see you.